Hey everyone, welcome to episode 82 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm your host, Braydon Unsicker. I'm joined with Aaron, the editor, and Kyle Trenga. Welcome, guys. All three of us were at the Nerdy Tourney. We were hanging out, having fun. We all came back with some stories. We're going to be talking about that. So that'll be our weekly update. 3-0 to 5-0, Kyle. Then back by popular demand, and is apparently everyone's new favorite segment, airing it out.
Are we really surprised? A little bit.
Because
I'm surprised.
Not completely.
I'm surprised.
Kyle's Corner's got a couple things, paddle, babble, and gear. Not as many paddle updates this week, just more just what's coming, what we're testing, and what reviews are coming down the pipeline, as well as some interesting paddles that have come in that are on the radar. And then we'll also share some thoughts on some new bread and butter paddles coming out. Then we're going to finish with the paddle fitting segment, or the new segment, paddle fitting of the week. Got a question there. All of us will participate. Before we jump into bread and butter Nerdy Tourney, this episode is brought to you by Pickleball Central. Do all your shopping there. Great customer service, excellent website. Everything's fast. It's organized, huge selection, 30-day return policy on their paddles, acts as a demo period. Plus, they have a really awesome rewards program. If you do all your shopping there, get points, use that for purchases down the road. And if you use the link in the description, it'll apply up to a 10% discount across the board. You just have to click the link in the description. And if you do your shopping through that link, it also, any purchases will go to, help support this channel. So do your shopping at Pickleball Central. Thank you guys for sponsoring. Weekly update. We're starting with the bread and butter tourney. So we all went to Florida. We got in. Kyle, you got in early. You got in Wednesday?
Yeah. No, I got in. Well, that's a story in itself. I landed Thursday at 6:40, but I ended up getting stuck on the tarmac for 2 hours.
Oh, but it's already a long flight.
Yes.
And then when they put you in the seat for an additional 2 hours with the flight, nothing makes me grumpier than flying, dude. I get frustrated every time. But
I started my flights at 4:30 in the morning. I had to be to the airport by 4:30.
Did you miss your connection?
No. Nope. So 4:30 in the morning, got on my flight at 5, went to Portland, and then from Portland to Orlando. And then there was thunderstorms right when I landed. So we landed, but we couldn't gate. So I sat there for 2 hours just waiting to be driven to the gate.
Ugh, gross.
Kyle,
and then you had to drive an hour and a half to Vero Beach.
walk me through a 4:30 a.m. flight, because I feel like I hear people doing this, and
that was a piece of cake.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at that point in my life where I want to make decisions like that. The Olsons do this. You do this. I don't think it's like a superhuman waking up before the sunrise. I think this is just stupid. So you want to walk me through an early-ass flight?
My goal was to get to Florida as early as possible so I got more time there because it was a vacation.
Didn't work out for you, huh?
It didn't. It backfired. I should have just flown in with you guys.
Yeah, think twice before you do that next time, Kyle.
In your defense, Kyle, we also got delayed. I was delayed like a couple hours in Houston.
Rainstorm stuff.
And we didn't get until 1 a.m. So again, we weren't on the tarmac for 2 hours. We were supposed to get on at 11:30. So it was just a little bit. And then we found some food. You want to talk about that, Braydon? Where'd we eat at 2 a.m?
We did IHOP. I mean, do we have any other options besides IHOP?
For those who don't know, Braydon is a huge IHOP fan. You want to talk about dream sponsors? We're grateful for Pickleball Central, but if we could land IHOP on the Pickleball Effect podcast, it might change a few things around here.
I would eat pancakes on the pod.
Yeah, I would eat pancakes. I mean, I already eat pancakes all day, every day. So nothing would change other than a little extra, cash flow from IHOP. Yeah, we did IHOP. It was surprisingly busy at 1 a.m. There was kids there. There had to be other people who's coming off the flight. We weren't the only hungry ones. But we stayed in Orlando that night, we came in Friday. No, Thursday night, 1 a.m., and then drove up Friday morning. And then, so we get there, we hang out Friday night, just dinner, chatting, meeting everybody, hanging out. And then the next day, 9 a.m., we start the tourney, the Nerdy Tourney. So the way they had it organized, it was pretty clever. So 12 teams, everybody played a single game. If you won, you advanced to the winner's bracket. If you lose, you advance to the loser's bracket. But the loser's bracket was called, what they call the toilet bowl bracket?
Toilet bowl.
The toilet bowl.
So if you win, it's opposite of normal. If you win, then you're done. If you lose, you just keep toilet bowling down to determine who the worst team is, which turns out Kyle was nearly one of the worst teams at the place. You guys were in the toilet bowl championship, I guess, if you want to call it. What do you call it? It's not a championship. What do you call it?
I don't know. That was like sudden. I call that toilet bowl sudden death.
Toilet bowl sudden death. And but you pulled out the victory. You did not get the toilet bowl trophy, but that was really funny.
We won handedly.
Look, he's got to defend himself. He makes it to the worst part of the tournament, and then he's like, "Hey, we're actually pretty good at pickleball."
No. To defend me and JJ, looking at all those teams, it was a randomized draw. It was not a seeded draw.
It's true.
Our first team was a semifinals team.
It's good.
And our second team was the highest combined duper in the tournament.
Yeah, you guys got unlucky.
So,
which was me, and we beat you.
Which was you, and correct. You were the highest combined duper, and you did beat us. Even though that was a really fun game. That was actually, I had a lot of fun in that game.
Have you rewatched it? We have access to those video footage now.
No, but we had some good hands battles, so I should.
There's some really good battles. I'm gonna show some clips later from our match.
I'm sure just your highlights.
Yeah, that was a blast. Unfortunately, the Pickleball Effect squad did not fare well. We all went to the toilet bowl after the first game. Yep. And Aaron and I had a 1-round exit in the toilet bowl. Kyle kept toileting just because I think he wanted to play more games, and then decided to win the one that really mattered there at the end.
You know what? In your defense, Kyle, the format was, and so Justin and I lost first round to the champions, 15-12. So you got to be happy about that. Again, you never want to lose, but if you're gonna lose, it might as well be to the champions. And 12-15 sounds like all in a good day's work. But then we went to the losers bracket, and then we played one game, cleaned house, and that was it. So there was no advanced format for you. It was slightly strategic to lose because you got to play more pickleball, and so you were almost deemed Captain Flush, but at the same time you were on main court one more game. So
one team did make it out of the toilet bowl, the team with the highest point differential.
Right. We don't have to get into that because I still feel like they fudged the numbers and Dusty and I got out dirty. But man, tournament was fun. Braydon, high level, who surprised you? Who played good? Give me high level storylines of the B&B Nerdy Tourney 2025.
There was a lot of good players. So
absolutely.
I had never met Brent. He was the co-host for the PB Med podcast. He's just really tall, moves well, always in the right spot. Kind of like a Ben Johns type footwork where he doesn't look like he's sprinting and moving, but he's just always there. Uses his length well, hands of a god, the touch of a god. He was good. He was definitely one of the better players there.
Very good.
He knocked me out in the first round. He had a high duper, but no one had ever met him, and he definitely matched his duper. He was solid. PB Med, he is very good at clipping his games for his reviews.
Oh, get out of here! Don't say that.
No, he was fun. He was good. I was expecting just a little bit more out of Dustin, but still a good player. And then I think everyone. No, that's just the message of Dustin. Dustin's the man. He was one of my favorite people in Mid of the Week. He's great.
I have a funny story about him too.
What is it?
Well, no, it's just like, so he's a doctor. He tells me, so he shows up. He's a lot more fit than he actually looks on his podcast. I was actually surprised.
All sorts of things.
I was like, this guy's pretty yoked. Then we're like sitting at Bread and Butter, and right before we go to Bread and Butter, and he Uber Eats like 3 persons worth of McDonald's.
Yeah.
And he's just chowing down on McDonald's. I'm like, dude, I was like, you're a doctor and you eat McDonald's? He's like, I eat McDonald's once a day. Then we get to Bread and Butter, and like we're all drinking electrolytes from Element, thanks Element, and water. And he pulls out a 2-liter of Coca-Cola, not like Coke Zero, like straight up Coca-Cola.
Full gas.
Big old massive thing, just sitting on his chair, just sitting on his lap, and drinking like a little kid.
Oh, I was just dying. I was dying. He was my favorite. Like he came up and hugged me right off. Like he acted like he knew all of us. It was great.
He texted me at like 6:45 in the morning, and he's like, "Hey, Aaron, you want to get on this McDonald's order?" And I was still like posturing with Braydon, like, "Braydon, what are we doing for breakfast? What are we doing here?" And then like, 5 minutes later, I walk out to go coordinate with Braydon just to find some food. And Kyle, you're right. He had like a Black Friday grocery haul of McDonald's, and I was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe he's like got me a few things. We're playing together, and then I just see him start assembling, and it was clearly not a first time. I don't want to make this whole tournament about Dustin's breakfast routine, but if he could add that routine into the next podcast or full review, he was cutting pancakes, cutting sausage, multiple cups of syrup. He added extra syrup on the order. This was like it was like breakfast nachos of pancake, syrup, eggs. And man, I don't think we would have 12-15'd if he didn't have that many nutrients running through his body. And so,
no lack of carbs.
Yeah, that was great. He was awesome. Another person that surprised, I think, all of us was Farmer Lanky.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So Lynn Hopkins, he's got the Farmer Lanky channel, and he so they made a semifinal run. He and Brent ended up beating me and Matt's pickleball in the first round. I was thinking I can go in there, pick on Mr. Lanky. No, you couldn't. He was holding his own. He was getting the hands battles. He was making his dinks. Wasn't giving you much. Was impressed with Mr. Lanky.
He's got that nasty like reverse backhand like punch that he had some good shots.
I still don't know how he was doing that, but he was doing it, and it was working.
Yeah.
In the semifinal game, everyone was just getting big on Lanky, getting behind him. He was making plays, and he's just the nicest dude there. Yeah. Really fun.
Braydon, you were telling me about we weren't sure what to expect with if good players, 5-0 plus players, were going to carry quote unquote worse partners, or if teams like JJ and Kyle, who had sort of similar dupers, maybe like lower or higher floors, a couple medium fours, were going to play better versus one high, one low. And do you kind of want to share your thoughts on that? Because I was a little surprised. I wouldn't say I was expecting what we saw, but at least when it came to quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, it seemed like there was a trend of teams who were making it as far as duper mixes.
Yeah, going into it, I had postulated in our last time all three of us were together that both of your teams were going to be the teams to beat. I thought you guys had like your combined levels were very similar, closer, very good, and we're on the higher end. And I thought you guys would be the teams to beat. It ended up being the teams that had just a really solid left sider, like the Brent, or right side Will was there. He's from California. He was just kind of filling in an extra spot. He had just like a really, really strong drive and could use that to create plays and kind of create off of those mix match levels more so than the two even guys could, right?
Yeah.
And so it was I got it backwards. It ended up being the teams with the best players and then a support role that held their own. The Farmer Lanky did really good. The Pickleball Pursuit guys did really good with their partners.
Yep.
Yeah, that was backwards. What did you guys think of that?
No, exactly the same thing. I thought I thought 4-3 was going to do better than 5-1, 3-5.
Yeah, right.
The bigger players definitely they made it happen. The guy from Pickleheads, Steve Majangos, same thing. Big drive, could just cause havoc, and he moved good.
Yeah, he was another guy that I had never met before, really knew much about. Was him, Steven from Pickleheads, and he was a baller. He was definitely one of the better players there.
The right side Will, though, his Ernie, like not only was it just like really good, but like the speed he put on his Ernies was like, I haven't seen many people that can put that much power on an Ernie.
I think he had 3 or 4 throughout the day too, so it wasn't just like one nice ATP or one nice Ernie. It was like, you make a sort of mistake, I'll make you pay 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think a single one came back.
No.
Yeah, it was those guys that could make you pay for the mistakes, that had the offense from the baseline, that created more opportunities to score for their partners than the mediocre 5-0s like me, I just can't produce the same level of offense that they could. And so that was a factor. But yeah, that was interesting. And congrats to Right Side Will and Justin, the winners of the Nerdy Tourney. Ironically, Right Side Will is arguably the smallest, or not even a creator. He was just there hanging out.
Yeah, can we call that out? That's some bullshit. You want to talk about, this is an invite. You know what? Okay, I know this is coming from me. I know that I'm barely on the list, so take it with a grain of salt. But this is bullshit. Okay, he should not have been there. I don't care his talent level. He was subbed in. He was clearly too good. I don't think he even knows what YouTube is. Lets him in this tournament. He rips through all of us. Justin gets carried to a championship, and now he's got eternal glory for a whole year until we can do another tournament. Just because someone subbed in, can I go recruit Alshon to play with me next year? He's a YouTuber. Like, what are the rules here? It's stupid.
If Alshon plays in a dress, I'll allow it.
Yeah, bet.
But at least Justin qualified as a nerd. He's the nerdiest of us all. So, congrats to him. Losers, the Toilet Bowls, the team that Kyle beat was building pickleball. Brian did not like the award at all.
He didn't want the post game interview. We went up to him with the camera in his face. We had the mic. Brian, talk to us about the game. We met him at center court, and let's just say he shushed us off and hit a speed walk. Thankful enough, we were able to capture an interview with Luca. It was a little bit more PR media trained. Was able to kind of talk about his fleshgressions instead of transgressions. But yeah, Brian, bad day for building pickleball. It was rough out there, and so congrats to you, Kyle, on staying just off the toilet seat there, but
just off the toilet seat.
I remember after the first round, all three of us lost round one, and Paul from Elalip, I don't know how to say his name. He was like, "Man, building pickleball effect, all lost first round." I was sitting there looking at all of us like, "Dang it!"
Yeah, we got tough draws. We could have pulled it out. That was one thing. Like, if I were to recommend one change, I think doing a seeded first round would sort it out a bit better.
Yeah.
I don't think I would make a run. Aaron, you and Dustin, you guys were very capable. You barely lost to the team that won it. You guys could have made a deep run. You got dinged off that first round. Kyle and JJ, that was destined. I don't think anything would change there.
No. I think some unlucky draws and maybe it just didn't go your way, but I definitely expected you guys to win.
Yeah.
More games.
We played really well in all the rec play games, and then we just showed up and didn't perform.
That's how it goes.
It was a tricky start to there's so much weight in that first game.
Yeah, it sucked.
It was scheduled for 9:30, be there at 9.
Yep.
We ended up starting early. We didn't really get many hits, and so you just had to go out there and play and find a way. And I struggled that first game too. Wasn't finding my form till the second stuff, so that was a bit of a factor. Those who were able to find it early had some success there, but now they overall just big thanks to Bread and Butter.
Huge.
Ton of fun. First time everybody was together.
Yeah.
Really cool. Everyone is as cool as you think they are, and everyone's just so nice. Really, really cool community that has been built here, and it was fun to get everyone together.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. We also got
and Aurora.
Aurora.
Massive
Don't forget
shout out to
Aurora.
Absolutely.
Aurора's Doug's daughter. She's pulling just as much weight as Doug over there these days.
Probably more. I think
not.
she's the real
If
boss,
not.
and Doug's just the content creator.
Yeah, they got a good thing going. I'm happy for them. And then we also got new Bread and Butter paddles that'll be coming out probably in a couple months or so. We can talk about those in the Paddle, Babble, and Gear section. So moving to 3.0, we got Kyle. This section is sponsored by Holy. There's a lot of different electrolytes out there. These are the ones I use. I love their flavors. Not only do they have smart electrolytes, but they also have endurance support, some focus stuff. It's zero sugar. A lot of good things about these. Plus, they have post-game and pre-game options and greens. So they have this full lineup. It'll take care of you. Use them to get your electrolytes so you can play your best pickleball, play longer, have fun, enjoy the sport without getting injured, recover quicker. Use the discount code PB Effect on their website. I'll put a link in the description. Go get your electrolytes from them. And if you do purchase through that link, it also goes to support the channel too in other ways. So thanks to Holy. All right, Kyle.
All right. Today we're talking speed ups.
Wait, actually, Kyle, I always interrupt you before you start yours.
That's fine.
Your segments. That happens every week.
Shut up.
That's fine.
Shut up, Kyle.
Okay, before we get into your tip here, if I remember correctly, you posted a clip from our match in the toilet bowl.
I actually
where
shared it.
I left one up. You smashed it on me. You were looking like a hero. You looked great. It was a good shot. But I would like to remind you of a few other points that occurred during our match. So let me pull up this little compilation I made.
Oh, you made a compilation.
Oh, yes, Braydon. This is good.
All right. For those listening, this is a 30-second compilation of points that Kyle failed to post on his Instagram this weekend.
I didn't post
Kyle,
any.
you
I
cannot
just
respond. You must watch in silence.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. Get Kyle with a pretty little Ernie there. Get in his face. Ooh, going for a lob. That didn't work. What do we got here? Oh, Kyle trying to do something with it. Didn't work. Oh, what's this? Okay, Kyle. Oh, move, Kyle. Nope,
Okay.
that didn't work.
Speed, though. Nice speed.
Oh, we got another one here. Oh, where are you at, Kyle?
Uh,
All right, see if Kyle can finish a point here.
Ooh,
He-
nice scoop. Oh,
He's
this is a nice
struggling.
point.
Into the net.
that block you had, JJ actually apologized because he drove like 3 times to that same spot. That just got me burned because you were standing.
Look
right
at him. He immediately tosses JJ under the rug here. Instead of
Oh,
taking
no.
ownership of his clips, the first thing he says when we unmute his mic is it was JJ's fault.
No, it was not. I didn't say that. I said those 3 blocks that he had.
Now he's denying it again.
Look at him.
So
You know what,
whatever.
Brian and Luca? Your guys are fine. This guy belongs in the toilet bowl.
Let's pull up the toilet bowl when I just blasted Luca with a drive right in the chest.
You
and
did.
Everybody
You
was
did.
like,
You did.
"Oh."
Anyways, just wanted to remind you of your place as co-host.
That's
and how
fine.
that game really turned out.
That's so funny.
It was good. This is a fun
All
game.
right. Go ahead, Kyle.
Where were we at? Oh, speed ups, 3-0 to 5-0. So a couple notes on speed ups. I like. So commonly you'll see at the lower levels that people are expecting their speed ups to be winners. Speed ups aren't going to be winners. The better you get, the ball is going to come back. So more important than the speed of your speed up is actually the placement of your speed up. So you should be slowing your speed ups down and working. This is in drilling and working on locations. So aiming for the hips, aiming for, that shoulder, that chicken wing. And you should start thinking of speed ups less as like the winning shot and more like the setup or the initiator to win that next point. So, and we've talked about this anticipation, but I think it's a good tip to slow your speed ups down and work on where you're putting them more so than just trying to blast it through people.
I like that. Placement over power.
Kept it short and sweet.
Another way I like to think about that is pressure over power. Sometimes when like a person is 2 feet off the line, people get a 50-50 ball. They speed it up as hard as they can at the person in front of them. But instead of doing that, take a little pace off. Try to find feet. Think pressure over power. Think locations. Yeah, that's more important than speed. I've done a couple of those learning with pro lessons now, and that's come up in almost every episode of, hey, Braydon, why did you speed it up here? Why not think of this location, this speed? And it typically comes down to looking at the correct or hitting the right spot rather than just hitting as hard as you can. There are scenarios where you want to blast it, hit as hard as you can. But if it's a 50-50 or a little below the net, yep, that's spot on.
And
Any thoughts on that,
that
Aaron?
takes patience and diligence. Like you got to go out and like practice hitting either off speed or locations. I know I'm found guilty of all the time of wanting that first speed up to be the winner and not, speeding up or sliding or speeding up and then getting, your paddle up. And so I think I could use that drill a ton. I would love to go. I feel like a lot of times I'll get more lucky on locations than I am either putting some pace off or like doing like a soft bait dink speed up and really trying to hit a hip or a shoulder. And so I think that's a great drill, and I think we could all improve from that.
Nice. Good tip. Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Airing it out.
You cut out. Is it time?
Oh,
Yeah,
I said it.
It's time.
He said it.
I
airing
cued it. I cued it.
This week on Airing It Out, I'm not here to review paddles. I'm here to call out BS. It's that time again where I climb to the top of the carbon fiber soapbox and slap some sense into the paddle world. This is Airing It Out, where the sweet spot is truth, the core is chaos, and the grip length, uncomfortably long.
A fresh new intro. Well done.
That was a good intro.
Thank
Bravo.
you. All right, number 1. The maxed out marketing madness. So I recently saw some paddles. I'm not going to put them on blast, but you can maybe figure it out. That was doing the full power, full control, full spin. And so you're getting buzzwords like tested and Perfected features, maximum spin with every shot, thermofuse technology for unmatched power and control.
That was the key word right
gave
there.
it. You just gave it away, right?
Did I say? Damn it. All right, it's definitely not Onix if that's what you're thinking.
You can't say thermofuse.
And so the question is, all right, I'll cut the thermofuse part. The question is, are we witnessing innovation, or is this just a Mad Libs printed on a paddle box?
Mad Libs. Can you say anything else for it, Kyle?
No, it's going to be Mad Libs. I do think, I haven't hit it yet, but that paddle does look to me like it's going to be the best Onix. But those are all just buzzwords. Like, and the whole like graph where everything's just pinned to the right. Like you're playing Madden and you got a character that's 99 everything.
Full max, full specs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and like when you speak that way, it takes away not only like validity of the marketing, but then you actually don't know how it plays, right?
Yeah.
And I think the brands that actually call out, I mean, early years, like 2020, 2019, when I started reviewing, that was literally the marketing for every single paddle. There was zero, this is a control paddle, this is a power paddle.
No, yeah.
Obviously, we're seeing that a lot more now, but this is one of the more recent ones that diverged back to the 2020 marketing lingo.
Yep.
So, I mean, like to dive into the question, do people like actually get behind it, or are we just enthusiasts like seeing through the bullshit? But like, does it actually work?
Yes, I'm going to say it does, and it's actually a good play with Onix because Onix is in every major retailer in like America, like Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, stuff like that. And I think the average person walking through an aisle that knows nothing about pickleball is going to be like, "Oh, this is good at everything. This is the paddle." I mean, I bet you it sells.
I believe it's $120 paddle. And so maybe if that's their target audience, but if you are past that, I've never played stage before, I don't think that marketing works.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I thought you guys, that one was kind of an easy one to work into this one. All right, this one, this second one, no, you don't get to do that to my segment. You do not get to do that. Number 2, it's called Launch Day Suicide Pact. 3 new paddles, 1 launch date. You'd think that the paddle industry was hosting a Black Friday collab. Blue Core, Arma, and the C45 are all hitting shelves on June 10th. So the question is, did Diadem, by moving their launch date, drop the ball, letting their solo spotlight turn into a full group project? It's time to iron it out.
I think it's a drop the ball. I would be surprised if they knew that those other ones were going on those dates. But within the enthusiast world, the Arma's been getting talked about a ton. The C45 has been talked about a bunch the last few weeks. And I think that's going to hurt them because we have our Blue Core video ready. But I know a lot of people are going to publish Arma and C45 stuff that day, and it's definitely going to eat into that, at least in the enthusiast world. Kyle?
Oh, I think it's a terrible idea because I think it's going to go C45 takes the most sales, and then you're going to have the Arma taking second most, and I think Diadem's going to actually hurt from releasing on the same day. Not saying that the Blue Core's a bad paddle. I just think that's a bad time to release against those other 2 paddles because Franklin does have the pros backing him, and that everybody loves those paddles. Mm-hmm. That's just a tough day to launch on.
But is there any angle on paddle companies knowing that they're all launching on mutual dates to get like consumers in the mind that, hey, there's a lot of paddles coming out, I need the pressure to buy a paddle, versus if it's just one paddle on one day and I go, I know I don't want the Arma for X reason, I'm not interested in June 10th, versus now you kind of have like a whole slurry of paddles coming out. You're like, I think I kind of like the Arma. I'm not sure, maybe carbon fiber, maybe PET. I maybe think I definitely am curious about a Tempo C45. Does multiple paddle launches on the same day trick consumers into buying a paddle because there's a whole menu? You guys go, nope.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I say I couldn't speak to that. Isn't the Era coming out right around the same time too?
No, it's later.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is later in the month. Okay. I was like, June's a busy month though.
All right, last segment of airing it out here. Last segment airing it out.
We got a third. We got a
surprise third. This is an MLP Would You Rather, and it's titled Flame Out Edition. Because after going 1-5 of their home event, the Phoenix Flames are living proof that sometimes home court advantage just means more people watch you lose. Would you rather start every match for the Flames, get clipped on streams weekly, and be the face of failure in MLP? Maybe the Hogs. I almost put the Hogs in here too. Or Would you ride the bench for the flash all season, never touch the court, but still collect W's, rings, and playoff appearances? So what's it going to be? Pain and fame or bench and bling? It's time to start airing it out. What you got, Kyle?
Oh, I'm taking the bench and bling.
Bench and bling.
But you're going to get canceled because you're an Arizona guy.
Well, they're getting canceled because they suck.
Kyle's only used to losing, as was witnessed from this weekend, so he doesn't want to deviate from the norm.
No, I will be Tyra's water boy.
I will. I'll take the W's. Put me on the bench. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna be the face of that franchise in the future. Put me on the winning team.
Yeah, I think same for me. All right, that's it on Airing It Out, where we maxed out on marketing, overlapped on launches, and proved once again that in pickleball, you can't spell carbon without C-O-N. I don't know what that means. I didn't read that yet. But that's what we said. Without con.
AI missed that
yeah,
one.
AI missed it. Hey, but it was 9 out of 10 there. Those were pretty good.
It was 9 out of 10.
You can't spell carbon without con. Con what?
Conspiracy. Confluence.
All right. Over to
Crypt.
Kyle's Corner.
Over to Kyle's Corner. Kyle's Corner brought to you by Slice.
Slice.
Premium weighted end caps. These things are so nice. They feel very comfortable. They add weight. They bring the balance point down, make heavier paddles feel lighter, expands the sweet spot. There's so many benefits to adding weight to the end of your paddle.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many paddles that I will end up using for myself, or I'm like, this is my main, that I don't have some sort of weighted something in the butt cap.
Yeah.
This is the best route to go as far as premium and
you can customize them.
Good there.
And you can customize them. So you can get like,
them.
So you got a pink hat, you got a pink overgrip, you want a pink slice? Boom.
Yeah. You put Aaron's you could put Aaron's face on your slice too.
You could. You know what? You could even put the text, you can't spell carbon without C-O-N. No one knows what it means, but you could put it on a slice cap.
I offered you guys to make personalized slice caps not long ago. Neither of you took me up on it. Send me an image. I'll order you guys a personalized slice.
I thought we were just getting PE slices, and
I thought so.
This is yours. This is you gotta whatever it is. I'll order one.
I thought he was just asking if we wanted PE slices too.
Yeah. That was my bad. These is Aaron and Kyle slices.
I want a picture of Kyle's face with a toilet behind it and says almost, but not quite.
Dang. I want a picture of Aaron bent over my knee and me spanking him with a paddle.
Can I also have one of
those? Get those made up, and I'll order those for you.
I'm gonna have AI. I'll have AI do it. All right, first topic. We're a little late because of the Nerdy Tourney and all that fun stuff, but QD gets fined $50K, suspended for one PPA event, and suspended for one MLP event for playing in a event in Vietnam for his new big money sponsor.
Do we know what the event was in Vietnam? Any details about that?
I think it was some kind of tournament / pro exhibition. But
we don't know the actual context of that event. We just know that he got fined for playing in something.
Well, yeah, he broke contract. So it was obviously an event that is talked about in his contract. I'm sure he's not supposed to play in any sanctioned event of any sort. So
something along those lines.
Do we think this is an overreaction? Is the fine too deep?
I mean, I think you got to set an example, right? I don't know if anyone else has been fined for this. Can you recall anything?
Not like, I mean, the Johns brothers, but that wasn't a fine. That was like a forfeiture of money that they were going to be paid. This is a legitimate fine.
Yeah, but I'm saying like for someone breaking the rule of playing in an unsanctioned tournament, from my knowledge, this is the first time that's happened.
Yes. Yeah, first time we've seen it.
They've, they got to set an example here. Like, look, we're going to hold to our rules. We're going to hold to our contracts.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, put you in town square, fine you $50,000, make sure everyone can see it.
I was going to say, what else they do?
We're going to tar and feather you.
Yep.
So I can see why they went maybe bigger than people anticipated to deter future, breaches of contracts. If I see that from someone else, I'm holding my breath, and I'm not going to go do something like that.
Also, $50K. Wasn't Diescu, when he got suspended for the whole Pine Tar, wasn't that $50K too, and a lot longer of a suspension? I'm pretty sure that number was the same. So, I mean,
maybe
the 50 is the number for me that seems high.
That's like cheating too. That's like, to me, that's a much worse.
Exactly. So 50 on 50. I mean, we look up,
50-50
fact check that number.
with
but-
a longer suspension.
Yeah.
For him, his was a couple months. I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, so I totally forgot about that. So I do agree. That's probably a little harsh. I do think that QD probably knew he was going to get fined. It just didn't care because he's making money right now.
The thing I have against that is not so much that he was fined and they suspended him. It was more the fact QD's like international is the next big thing for pickleball. He's out there spreading the gospel. He's making appearances. He's playing with people. He's building the sport. And I think him showing up and participating in this event was probably a really healthy thing for pickleball in that area. And I think it's unfortunate that he got fined for doing like a good thing, I think, for pickleball. You know, maybe it was the lack of communication of him not saying, hey, PPA, I want to do this for this reason. These people are going to now watch me on TV. You're going to make more money because I'm playing in this event. You're going to sell more paddles. Sipic's going to come sponsor, you know, the PPA or whatever. And so I get why they find him, but I do think it's unfortunate that the principle behind of what he was doing, I don't think was inherently like a bad thing. It wasn't just him going playing in some money ball, trying to make easy $1,000 in Boise, Idaho or something, you know?
Yeah, freaking Boise. Freaking Boise.
Anyways, that's my thoughts there.
All right, well, that we'll continue to watch. He is known as the contract breaker a little bit, so I'm sure we'll be talking about him again shortly.
Start calling him the paper shredder.
So
he's had this. He's had the Arma thing.
Yeah.
We had the Quebacle with the Selkirk contract and the Oton. There will be more.
Oh man! All right, so I wanted to give a shout out. The PPA came to Boise this weekend, the Challenger.
And Boise showed up.
Boise showed up big. So Mariana, our local legend, who has taken down Leah Jansen before, she took first in singles, and then
rolled.
Rolled.
Nothing even close.
She did really well. Chloe took first in women's.
She's she's 17 now, maybe?
Yep. Yeah, 17 or 18. I can't remember.
She's got a PPA card. She's trained in Arizona. She's going hard. She's the real deal. It's fun to see her have some success.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing her in the big PPAs here pretty soon. She's improving quickly.
She can't beat me though. I know I know how she hits the ball.
Well, I was gonna say, you know what's funny is like I can play against her too because her strength is those like Mr. X, but like we've played with her so much that like we're expecting them.
Yeah, she pulls the trigger early. Ones. You're good with your hands. I can see you doing well against her.
So, but she does have some nasty Mr. X.
She's good. No, she beats me 99 out of 100. I'm just joking.
Our boy Trey that we talked about on the Ty that we talked about on the last pod. He took
the young Ty. Yeah.
Yep, he took gold in I think it was 4-0 young kids.
The kid's sandbagging, man.
So
he needs to move up. He's too good for that.
Pretty awesome. I'm trying to think if there was any more people that
we had. Nick Wade and Lewis. They did well in men's. I think they medaled. Maybe they did.
They made a semifinal run.
I know Jace Edwards that we talked about before, the Selkirk product manager. He played with Kenny Ortega, who's a local guy. They took second in men's. They played great. But I think just as a PPA challenger in general, these I've heard mixed results or mixed things about, you know, people showing up. Are the events big enough? Are they worth it? This event was huge. They had 30 plus teams in both men's, singles, women's had big turnout. People were traveling in from local states. Like this is what the PPA Challengers were supposed to be. And I'm really sad we missed it. Like, of course we had fun in Florida, but I really wish I was there just watching, soaking it in and cheering our people on. But no, that was really cool to see a PPA Challenger the way it was like designed to be.
Yeah. The last topic based on that PPA, I don't know if I would have wanted to see it though, because you had to pay $20 per day to go watch it, which I think is that's a little steep.
You know, to go see Mariana whoop all those people, I'd pay $25.
Maybe. I'd ask for an influencer discount.
Do you think that was steep though? You think it should be free?
I do.
Like just expose it.
Oh, I don't think it should be free, but I think $20 was a lot to just go watch. Because the main thing is people watching the local talent anyway. I mean, a lot of people just wanted to watch their friends play. So you had to pay $20 to even go see like your buddy play 3-5 or something? Yeah, you had to pay $20 to be in the building.
Just to get the building.
Yeah, unless you were playing in the tournament.
Yeah,
So
that seems kind of like a bummer. But I guess you have to do that for. Do you have to do that for regular PPAs? I think you have to pay to get the door to go see your friend play 3-5. Yeah, that's lame. But I guess you have access to the pro matches, so like it makes sense. And it'd be real tricky to split those up so that the amateurs and pros aren't mixing. And we like that the pros and amateurs are mixing because it makes like that's why it's fun to go to a PPA event or play in one because you do get that kind of mix interactions. But yeah, I mean, I guess for a challenger maybe, but I also am like, I mean, if you pay $20 a day, you go all 3 days, that's $60. You know, you take, your spouse or a friend or whatever, you're looking at 120. Luckily, Kyle just has to pay for himself these days.
Yeah. Oh.
But no, I get that.
I think that's all I had. Is that all I had? I'm pretty sure that's all.
That's all the notes.
Okay.
All right.
I tried to keep it short.
Paddle, Babble, and Gear brought to you by ADV. So I took
Saw
this bag.
a lot of those bags this weekend.
Yeah, a ton of these at the creator event. Really popular amongst our group. I've traveled with this a few times. I've checked it in before. I've carried it on the airplane with me this time. And a feature I never really used before that I loved and used this time was the laptop access sleeve right here. You can access your laptop without having to dig in through everything. Because I had this thing packed. It was full, but I still wanted to work while I was on the plane or, in between stuff. And so this little easy laptop access sleeve was super convenient. And
I didn't even know that was there.
It's there. And I imagine if you take a bag to work, if you want to mix a work and pickleball bag, that makes this a really nice option. Oh, yeah. You have your shoes in there, you have your clothes, you get to work, you can still just slip your computer out without having to dig through it and look like a dink. So go check them out. Link in the description. Use the code PBEffect. Again, if you use the code, it goes to support the channel. Plus, you get a dope bag. You can take a recommendation on that one. It's a great bag. Okay, so let's just first go through thoughts on upcoming B&B paddles. So all of us were given Bread and Butter's new paddles coming out.
Psycho.
While we were there at the tournament, so they have two paddles. They have the Psycho. This is the 10 millimeter, or not 10 millimeter, 14 millimeter thermoformed big celled paddle, I believe. I don't know all the details. That's just kind of what I heard.
Yep, I think
around.
CFC 10 millimeter.
Is it a CFC too? So definitely built to be fast poppy.
Isn't it it's using the black PP, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
It does.
Yeah. What's the difference between black PP and not black PP?
That's the stuff that like Paddletech uses.
It's a little bit softer.
Engage
as well.
Engage.
So
Engage.
Okay.
Sound like Patrick Ricard there.
Engage.
Yeah, a little bit softer.
This probably's got some juice then. I haven't spent any time. I know you guys hit it there. When we were done playing the tournament, we actually ended pretty early. The tournament ended pretty fast. And we played open play for like 4 hours. I was pretty beat. I wasn't playing much open play, but I know you guys were, and you were hitting these during that. But yeah, I imagine that's got some kick to it. And then Wild Thing, this is very similar to the Shogun and their filth elongated, but has a buried fiberglass layer in it. And I think they're using like a 3K carbon fiber weave there. But a little change of pace on graphics here. Like, of course, it has their fun graphics on there, but it's a little more subtle, not so bright and in your face. I think they're tailoring for a more advanced audience here, and they're toning down the graphics where it still meets their identity, but doesn't feel as much. It's just not as loud. I love their designs. I think they're fun, but I do prefer. Like, I personally prefer a little toned down like the black, and but this is feels like them, but still has the toned down bit. And so I'm personally really like these new designs. I think they look sharp, and it's a little change of pace for them. Looks good. As far as playability, I hit them against a wall. I haven't played games. I don't have too much of an opinion performance wise. Do you guys have any thoughts?
The Wild Thing is the real deal. That was
that
was Brent's favorite paddle at the tournament too.
Brent was like it. JJ was liking it. I think Aaron, you were digging this one too.
9 out of 10 times I will hit a wide body before an elongated, and I kept wanting to like the Psycho, and I couldn't. And I hit the Wild Thing for 30 seconds. And sheesh.
It was working.
It was working.
Yeah.
Kyle's right.
Yeah.
Wild Thing is
don't be
awesome.
don't be surprised if my new main on Speak Pickleball's next post is the Wild Thing.
Yeah, it's been a month since you've switched mains, Kyle. I think
know.
it's time.
It's time. It's
Personal
time.
best.
That's fun. Yeah. So be on the lookout for those. More information coming later. We'll get stats and stuff on. I do think the Wild Thing is a little bit lighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
than
is.
the Shogun, because I know they're
it needs
Go
some
ahead.
weight. No, I was just gonna say it's lighter. It needs some weight for sure.
But it's also nice that I was telling Braydon this on the drive back, that you just don't get a lot of elongateds that come in light, whether it's, I don't know, 114, 115, 116. You can always add weight to get it up to where you want, but it was one of the, like, it reminded me of the Friday Fever, where it just comes in really low, really light, has a lot of customizability, and I think that's really cool to like have an elongated that comes with more tweakability, whether you just want to go up the cheeks a little bit, get some more stability, or you start want to go higher and really get the power. I think Right Side Will, who won the tournament, was playing with 9 grams on either side. He had 3-gram pods, and so you can really weight it up. But even stock, I hit it really quick, so just a first impression, I really enjoyed how it felt.
nice. Yeah, I think for this more, I guess, tournament, more advanced audience that they're trying to hit with these, branding is, I think, was spot on. They did their research there. I think the coming with a little lighter, knowing that people are probably going to customize it, was smart, and just trying to amp it up. They're staying away from Gen 3s, Gen 4s at the moment. I think they're kind of filling that space out. So they're still doing the Gen 2 style, manipulating what you can there to bring some life to it. And so, but these do fill in some gaps in their lineup. So they're keep expanding, and they're doing good stuff, with their paddles that way.
And here's the clickbait title: Wild Thing is the best paddle that Bread and Butter's ever made. I'll say it. Clip me.
Oh, you beat Kyle too.
I was gonna say that's a Kyle quote.
Clip me.
And then just as far as what I've got going on, testing. So we got the Blue Core review going out on June 10th. Aaron and I had that ready for the original planned date, which was early last month, and it's gotten pushed back a couple times, but we're going to publish it on the 10th. And then currently hitting C45. So I got the full lineup, got a fresh hybrid in my hands, and still just loving these things.
Braydon is infatuated with the C45s.
Dude, the
I am
C45 is
infatuated.
good.
It is so good. And so I've only been hitting the Tempos, the Dynasties, which is their wide body elongated. And I just got a fresh hybrid in today, and I'm going to mess with the weighting with it this week. Very well could be something I potentially switch to. Aaron, or Kyle, I remember when we did that episode of like, oh man, what would Braydon's and Kyle's ideal paddles be? And we kind of went through some metrics and things we'd like to see. I rewatched that, and I think I can actually customize the C45 to nearly match
to be it.
the metrics that I was wanting from a paddle. So that'd be kind of cool if I could go match that. But yeah, we're not gonna publish. So the new shapes will be available on the 10th. Don't shy away from going in and buying one of these if you're interested in. The code PB Effect will work. Don't have to wait for my review. It's already got my endorsement. I think all shapes, sizes, thicknesses of these are solid. The 16 and 14s do play pretty similar. Picking between the two, you just kind of go with whatever your personal preferences. If you've liked 16s in the past, go with the 16. If you like 14s, go with the 14. All of them still do need some customization like the hybrid does, but not quite as much, particularly the elongated. The elongated's coming a little bit heavier than the hybrid and the wide body does. So the stock play of the elongateds is better out of the box. Doesn't need as much customization, though I do have a little weight on the cheeks. The other two definitely need some weight to be their best. But no, man, there's like Aaron, we were trying to like identify like why do we like these paddles so much, and they have a really unique feel for Gen 3. I think they're the best feeling Gen 3s out there. A lot of Gen 3s, there's this very common hollowy, stiffer feel. There's some variation of that across the board. These ones do not have that same hollowy, stiff feel. I wouldn't say it's super soft. It's more kind of this medium plush, but very crisp. And it's just very pleasant, very intuitive. But the power and pop is still there, but it's not over the top pop. It has the customability that we like. It's just kind of like this enthusiast dream, a little bit type paddle. And anyways, and Aaron, we're gonna double dip on that one. You're gonna add your thoughts on that one because you've been digging the hybrid for so long. But that'll likely come out a week and a half or so. This is kind of a crazy week. There's a bunch of launches, plus we're going to China in the middle of the month, and so that adds to a layer of complexity there. But anyways, those are coming out. Gonna start spending some time with the Selkirk Eras, maybe do a dedicated review there, maybe include that in like a monthly paddle blitz. And then I'm going to include the new Volair V1s and the Armas in next month's paddle blitz. Was debating on whether I should do an Arma review. Ultimately, I just decided to keep in the blitz. I like it. I think it's cool what they're doing, but I'm not just really big on it where I want to do a full dedicated review for it. I think there's going to be a place for it for people who like a firmer, stiffer feeling paddle. You get a little more forgiveness out of a 14 millimeter than you do out of other 14 millimeters. Comes weighted well out of the box. Doesn't need a lot of customizations, but it just has a really hard, firm feel that I think makes it a little more niche and not for as many people as I originally thought that it could fit. I personally prefer the feel of the Yola Pro 4s over the Armas, and those are on the stiffer, more hollow side, right? And so I think that kind of speaks to that firmer, just not as pleasant feel as the Armas. But I know there's a lot of people that have been liking them, so there will be reviews published on the 10th, I imagine. But if you watch the review and want to stick it to them, use my code PBEffect to buy it. And then interesting paddles coming soon. So grooving. When was the last time we talked about grooving? Aaron, have you ever hit a groovin?
Eons, Braydon, eons.
Kyle, have you spent much time with groovins?
Yeah, they sent me some, like when I first started the podcast with you, I got a set, and they were good actually. I actually really liked them. I think they were Kevlars. I can't remember what series it was, but no, they were solid paddles, and I actually really liked the standard wide body shape they had. I thought it played really well. But yeah, I hadn't heard about much from them since though. So
yeah, it's been a minute. To your point, you're right. They're kind of a little bit of a hidden gem. Maybe they're not on the in the past. They got fame. I was telling Aaron this. Aaron didn't know the history of grooving because we were talking this paddle. And I was telling him they originally got popular during, I want to say 2020, maybe 2021 when raw carbon first became a thing, and the carbon. The brand Carbon, CRBN, their paddle got banned for being too gritty. That was the paddle JW was playing with. Then JW went and switched to a Groovin because it had that same peel-plied face. We didn't even know what peel-ply was at the time. And he pulls it out, and that kind of put them on the map. And I did a review. Actually, forever ago, I actually had a buddy do a review of them when I was trying to find like multiple people to do reviews with me at the time. Anyways, we did a review for Groovin, and they've always come out with good paddles since then. But they've just kind of been like, not necessarily leading the way, but just keeping up. They have some good shapes. They have a lot of options. Yeah. They're a good brand, but haven't really done something that just shot them forward in front of others since that original paddle. But they've always done a good job of keeping up. But they're at the forefront of foam here. So they submitted two foam paddles, and one of them passed, one of them didn't. I have the one that's passed. It's their laser. I think it's called 16D solid foam or something like that. And so he just sent in the other two shapes to get those submitted or passed, since that standard one passed. But that's probably a couple months in the future, but that's something I'm interested in. I do think, just from my initial just kind of hitting with it, it's more than a control paddle. And so it gives us a little new flavor there for foam paddles. So interested in trying that one. And then you have Honolulu, who's been sending out foam paddles to everyone. And they surprisingly are doing things very differently from everyone else. It seems like they've done some innovation with foam that is very unique to them. It is not just this solid foam piece. And so more information to come about those. Those have not passed yet, so we're still waiting on certification there. And so I'm not even going to really mess with them until they get certified. Honolulu is a little bit tricky to work with because they send out paddles to us. We don't know if they're passed or not. We kind of have to wait. They're the production models, but there's no reason for me to invest a lot of time in these until we know like what's going to happen. And then once they get approved, he just throws them up on his website and sells them. Yeah. And so it's like, wait a minute, I want to should I have invested all this time if it's a good paddle, but not knowing like you're gambling there? But I'm just going to wait until they get approved, and then I'm okay publishing a review later.
But there's buzz. Really good. There's some low level buzz about the Honolulu foams.
Oh, 100%.
Honolulu foams.
I mean, of course, you can't help but just try them out a little bit when you first get a paddle, and that little bit of testing has been positive, and there's been others that have hit them more than I have, and everything's been really positive. So that's another interesting foam paddle that's coming down the pipeline that has some potential. And then that's everything I got for that. I guess last thing for here is AI bots. I mentioned this a couple 2-3 weeks ago that I started a project to build like a paddle finding AI bot to help you. This is still in the works. It's taking longer than I expected. Aaron actually tried it out with me, did some testing with it, and to give some feedback back to the engineer. But that's still in the works. It's not moving as fast as I want. It's not as, or at least as is. You know, I'm just not like crazy stoked about it. And I want to put out a good product. I want to put out something that the way I imagined it, and I think it can get there, but it's taking a little more time. But I'm going to keep working on that. Still high on it. Still think that could be very, very cool.
So you're saying you won't just rush out a prototype, and if it's good, go live?
Yes. Okay, last segment. Oh, sorry, Kyle, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say just go live with it and call it the beta and the alpha and then the beta 2. And
AI NFC,
like,
AI NFL, AI QRST UVWXY, and who cares?
Yeah. We love you, Honolulu. But I am impressed with that. They seemingly, for being a small brand, are doing something very different, something that seems very innovative. Reading their marketing makes a lot of sense. It's very clever what they're doing. And so those could be really good. All right, last section, paddle fitting of the week. So this is where we take a question that somebody asked me via email somewhere during the week. I'm going to read it to you guys, and let's fit this person to a paddle. So this player loved the Spartus Apollo for its reset ability, but needs more power. They tried the Neonic Flare Prime X, but found it too poppy, which hurt their control. Ideally, they want a wide body paddle with excellent control, but more power than the Apollo and less pop than the Flare Prime X, and preferably something with a 5.5 inch handle. Easy. All right, he's already got it.
Let's hear it.
All Court Pegasus.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was one of my
That's a
recs
good one.
too. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one has the buried fiberglass, but it's not fully thermoformed. It's that Gen 1.5, so it still has that control type feel to it. But then the has more power than the Apollo when you activate that base layer when you're swinging big, and so it definitely gives you that control Apollo vibes until you need more than that. And I think compared to other, activation layer type paddles, that one is on the softer feeling side, and maybe just a touch less poppy. That was my number one recommendation.
How about Chorus Shapeshifter wide body? 2 control? That's got some more juice than an Apollo's got negative pop.
You're saying like the
SX Chorus SX. Great spin.
That's a good one. That's a good one too.
That would say it's like a little bit more in between the Apollo and the Pegasus All Court.
Yeah, I think that one would sit somewhere in there. It's kind of a similar idea where it has the buried fiberglass layer. Comes in lighter. I don't think that one feels quite as plush as the Pegasus, though very close. I don't think this person would be upset with either of those options.
All right, let's go with super new. I don't have experience with this. What about the Max 19?
The Max 19.
You'd be the only one to be able to answer that.
That one, well, yes, I don't think that one's going to have that one doesn't have as much offense as the Pegasus All Court. I think that one's a step down from that. But it's still very control-oriented, very soft. It would be a step up from the Apollo, but probably not as much as this person would want, I would think.
Got it.
And it has a shorter handle, so it didn't fit their 5.5 inch criteria. But yeah, that one could potentially be another one. And then I think if you're looking for even maybe a step up from the Pegasus All Court, like you want just a little more firepower, but not quite as much as the Flare Prime X. The Nouveau Layers, the V1 wide body, is built very similar to those, but it has dual fiberglass layers that gives you just a little more pop, more from the baseline, but it then has a PET layer just to soften up a touch. And so I think that's another kind of in between if you maybe want to go a little bit bigger than the Pegasus All Court and get something that's just not quite FPX. But yeah, I would say all those paddles are still control paddles, and just a little different variations within within that category.
Last one I got. How about a Saga Bloom 16 millimeter?
That one was one he was considering. The reason I opted for the Pegasus over that one is because I think the Pegasus has a more is more similar in feel to the Apollo. I think it's a little plusher than the Saga, but though the Saga does have that profile of a little higher power,
low
lower
pop. And if the
fits what
Flare
they're looking
14 was a problem, little poppy, then you could up the power. Maybe that would help him, and then lower the pop on that Saga profile. And so another good option.
Yeah, I would think go that one if you don't love that super plush feel. With the Apollo having that really soft feel, I thought that the Pegasus made more sense.
But I would think, from what they are sounding like, stick with a 16 no matter what, unless it's kind of unique.
I think,
stick with 16.
Agree. Stick with 16. No reason to go to a 14. And 16s in general in that wide body space are going to give you that little higher power, lower pop profile in general. But though there's the ones we mentioned kind of show those aspects a little more than some others. But yeah, a lot of good options there, and a lot of good price. Paddles in that 150 and under range. Like I don't think there's
it's
any
an awesome place to be
above that price.
That's like the sweet spot of pickleball. It's great.
Yeah, this person's going to be very happy. They're going to love this new paddle. All right, there we go. That's going to end it for us. Thanks you guys for tuning in, everyone. We thanks for supporting us, and I'm really good at ending episodes.
Woo!